Hey there guys, welcome to my channel. Today isn't going to be as long as the collection video, thankfully, as the PlayStation 4 collection. I think that video topped like almost 2 hours. It's crazy. Today we will be covering my Switch collection, which isn't terribly large. One of the reasons for that is that the PlayStation 4 is my go-to console right now, and Switch games never seem to lower in value all that much. So almost every game that I've bought, I've had to buy brand new, are if you get them used, a lot of times they only take $5 off. Especially when I'm buying for the Switch, I usually am getting exclusives or first party games, because if I want the best version, maybe not the best version, because then I would get it for the Xbox One X, which isn't my go-to console. But if I want the most comfortable in-between version, I'll go for the PlayStation 4 version. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be on my PlayStation 4 Pro. I'm sorry if I sound out of breath. I was just outside and my allergies are kicking my ass. It rained recently, and then it stopped, and then the pollen goes into overdrive. So before we get started on the collection, this is a Switch. You already know what the docking station looks like. You already know what the little adapters that go on top of the Joy-Cons look like when you want to play 2-player games. So this is going to be super basic. But I do have a few online games. And I will get to them. So I'll be honest with you, I don't necessarily remember what they were. When I got a memory card for the Switch, I don't know if the dude was allowed to do this or not, but he gave me a code for this game called 9 Parchments, which is right here. I've never played Fallout Shelter, but I downloaded it because it was free. And then the other game that I have that I downloaded, which I had a chance to get a physical copy, but with the asking price for it just didn't seem worth it to me at the time. Now I kind of regret it, and the cat's going in my closet because I didn't shut the door all the way, if you want to know what that sound is. Of course, animals always seem to interfere with my live videos. I apologize about that. So we have, hold on, let me close the door. Zoe, get out of there. I'm just gonna leave it in. I'm not fancy. Anyway, so we have Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which was a spiritual successor to Castlevania 3. It's really good. They just announced a sequel that's supposed to come out later this month. I'm recording this in July. And now the dog's barking at people at the door. Gwen, please stop. I never can win with these videos, even when I have the best intentions. So those are the only digital games I get. I have typically, if there's a digital game, it usually comes out on PlayStation 4, and I've been using limited run games more than usual to get physical copies of digital games, because now they just make orders based on how many are pre-ordered. The special editions are limited, but the regular games aren't. So let's get started. So one of the main games I got wasn't actually a Switch exclusive. One of the main games I got, because for this, I got the system to play. It failed. Wii U was basically a failed system. I don't own a Wii U. Gwen, please stop. And I really wanted Bayonetta 2. Absolutely love the Bayonetta series. It came with a code, so I had to buy it new for Bayonetta 1. You have not experienced Bayonetta until you've experienced Bayonetta on the toilet. So I definitely highly recommend this. I actually have, the only port of Bayonetta I haven't played is the PC port. I had it on the PlayStation 3, which is the worst port, and then I had it on the Xbox 360. The Switch port of Bayonetta 1 is comparable to the Xbox 360 port, I would say. And then I have Bayonetta on the PlayStation 4, which is remastered, but it doesn't look as good as the PC port. And then the PC port apparently had fairly modest requirements, so I don't know what went on there. But besides the 360 port, this is probably the port I played the most. And then Bayonetta 2, I haven't finished it, but it's more of the same. I'm already looking forward to Bayonetta 3 before I even finish 2, but life of an OCD gamer. This was another Wii U game. A lot of the games I got were games that I just didn't play on the Wii U. This is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's a really fun game, but I do miss the enemies from the first 2 Donkey Kong Countries. They had the same enemies basically in the third Donkey Kong Country games, but they redesigned them, and of course everybody's congregating outside on my front porch, and this is an old house so the windows are thin, and of course when I do a video, that's when everybody decides to congregate. Can't fucking win. Hyrule Warriors. This is like a Dynasty Warrior version of Zelda. This is also on the Wii U. Like I said, a lot of the games I have on the Switch were exclusive to Wii U. One good thing about the Wii U ports that come out on the Switch is that you usually get the DLC. Kirby Star Allies. This game's super easy, but it's still fun and charming. I don't know why I'm showing you the back. Obviously, I got this used. I don't even think I paid that price for it. I think I had like credit or something. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Everybody sings praises of this. It hasn't won me over. I really like the 2D Zeldas and the ones that came out on the Nintendo 64. I did like Twilight Princess quite a bit, and I didn't get much into Skyward Sword just because motion controls throw me off. This is like Zelda Skyrim. People either feel indifferent about this game, but typically sing the praises of it. So this is one of these games that I'm trying to give a second chance to. So there you go. This is basically a polygonal remake of the 2D Game Boy The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which is my favorite Zelda game of all time. So this is basically a prettier version of that game, which is amazing. If you like old school Zelda or you'd like to do the Game Boy version, I can't recommend it enough. This game is awesome, but I haven't played as much. Sorry, it's my allergies. I haven't played as much of it as I should. This is Luigi's Mansion 3, if you didn't already see. I never played the version, the port that came out on the Nintendo DS, but I did play the original on GameCube. And then I have the sequel, which is pretty fun on the 3DS. I'm saying to buy myself time because I'm like trying to concentrate while these people are talking outside and trying to keep an eye on the animals. This is a port of another Wii U game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So this is basically a slightly better looking version of the Wii U game. I think the resolution's a little bit higher when you play it in dock mode, and it has all the DLC. You can't go wrong with Mario Kart, and I especially think Mario Kart is an invaluable portable game because it's pick up and play. What isn't pick up and play as far as a portable game, as far as I'm concerned, and I only like playing this game in docked mode, is Octopath Traveler. This is a callback to like old Squaresoft games like Final Fantasy VI and like Chrono Trigger. It's like in that style, but with polygons. They actually used Unreal Engine 4 to do this. It's a beautiful game. It's actually available on PC as well, but it was originally a Nintendo Switch exclusive. I really enjoy it. You'll have to grind more than you would in the typical JRPG that comes out today, but it's awesome. You play it as 8 different characters, and eventually their story intertwines, and it's an awesome game. It was apparently really hard to find, but I never had any difficulty finding it. And after I got it, I guess Square Enix got the message, and they just started making more copies. But yeah, this is an awesome game. If you like JRPGs, this should definitely be in your Nintendo Switch library. I hope I didn't say Barry. Brary. Alright. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Awesome idea. Remake of Pokemon Yellow. But, this game is stupid easy. I don't like it. Even though I love Pokemon Yellow, I played the shit out of it back in the day on the Game Boy Color. It was also compatible with the regular Game Boy, but it had like slight advancements, like Pikachu is actually yellow in the Game Boy Color version. And you can see his red cheeks. You actually have a, well, maybe just in my game, I have a female Pikachu. So, what I'm gathering is that, like, it isn't the Pikachu from the TV show, which I originally thought it was, because you still have like Jesse and James, Team Rocket, and all that stuff in this game. But what sucks about this game is that it's more like the Pokemon Go mobile game, where like you only fight Pokemon trainers, but you don't fight wild Pokemon. You don't really grind at all. The game, just play through the game essentially. It holds your hand. If you like Pokemon and classic Pokemon though, I would still look into it. But I personally was disappointed, especially if it was a remake of like a Pokemon game I really enjoyed. I skipped a lot of the Pokemon games after Pokemon Silver, and I didn't start picking it up again until like Pokemon Black and White, and then there was like, and then I got Pokemon X. I skipped Sun and Moon, went to Let's Go Pikachu, and then Pokemon Sword. So this is like supposed to be like Pokemon in like a fictional like town that's modeled after like the UK. This has a mixture of Pokemon from like all the different games. It doesn't have all the Pokemon, but this is really like the first true 3D Pokemon I've been envisioning playing since the Nintendo 64. Let's Go Pikachu was kind of there, but the gameplay wasn't. This has the gameplay and better 3D graphics where you actually can rotate the camera. Although when you're in towns and stuff like that, the camera's like static. But then when you go out in the wild, like you have more control over like the 3D camera and stuff like that. Awesome game. I haven't finished it, which is the story of my life with most games. Just assume. Usually I'll say I'll finish it if I've finished it. But I've really enjoyed this one so far. It feels like Pokemon coming back to form. This is SNK 40th anniversary. At first it only came out on the Switch. Eventually it came out on the PlayStation 4, which is what I probably would have bought it on if given the choice. But hindsight, like, I think this is better as a portable game. This has a bunch of classic SNK games from like the 80s basically. It doesn't go into like the more in-depth like SNK games like King of Fighters and stuff like that. It's like Akari Warriors. Let me see what games are on there. I know Crystalis is on there. Is that how you say it? It's Crystalis? I think it's Crystalis, which was an awesome Nintendo game. Karnoff, I believe, is on here. It's kind of crazy. It doesn't really list the games. Anyway, if there's an NES port, you get to play the NES port of games, or if there's only an NES game, you just play the NES. It's same with the arcade. If there's the arcade version, you only get to play the arcade version. But if there's both versions, you have the option of playing both versions. I highly recommend getting a Joy-Con with a D-pad on it. If you have the Nintendo Switch Lite, you're set. But this is definitely a game I would recommend a D-pad for. This is SNK Heroines, and basically it's like a cutesy version of with I'm not gonna lie, it has like fan service in it, but I liked like most of the SNK's fighting games, and it's in 3D. It's fairly nice looking for a 3D game, but it's stupid easy. It's oversimplified, and that's kind of a bummer. But if you're a fan of SNK games, like and their various characters, and you want like a simple stupid fighting game that looks fairly decent, it's worth checking out. Ironically, unless you got like the special edition for the PlayStation 4, the physical version of Snk Heroines was basically like physical only on the Switch, which is weird because a lot of times with the Switch is infamous right now for some of their games, like Overwatch, where you get it and it just has like a DLC code in it. This is Star Wars Pinball. When I bought this, the clerk looked at me like I was crazy, but I really love pinball games because I can't afford a pinball game in real life. And to be honest with you, I don't come across them that much anymore in real life. I'm not like before like the digital arcade generation as this recording in 2020. I'm 35, but most arcades had pinball games, and the mechanics and everything always fascinated me. So this is the next best thing, and I love the Zen pinball games. I also love the I don't even know who owns it anymore. Like, I believe it's like Pinball Arcade, whatever it is. Those are like based on real life games. This is based on Star Wars. These do things that like you couldn't do with a real arcade machine. Like, it'll switch to like you being in a cockpit of a spaceship, and it'll switch to mini games and stuff like that. All the games are based on Star Wars. I believe it goes up to the Star Wars movie, I want to say The Last Jedi. It might go to Solo. I don't think so. But there's additional Star Wars tables. I'm sure it's DLC, but I also have most of these games on PlayStation 4. I just wanted a portable version of that game. This game also requires a D-pad, in my opinion. Maybe you can play it with the little D-pad buttons. I don't care for them that much. Analog sticks, I guess it's good for like the half circle moves and stuff like that, but I feel like this is a must-have D-pad game as far as I'm concerned. And this basically comes with original Street Fighter, which in my opinion is not even worth playing, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Dash, which is also kind of known as Championship Edition, and then there's Street Fighter 2, I believe it's a New Challengers. Oh, I should have worn my glasses. We'll just say it's Street Fighter 2, the New Challengers. I think it's like a turbo version of that. And then you have Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2. They don't have Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold. Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3 Second Impact, and then Third Impact. I believe that's what it's called. I actually have my glasses right beside me. Let me tell you what that other game is, because I'm OCD. Oh my gosh, I might need new glasses. The New Challengers is Super Street Fighter 2. Alright, so I can't read, and off the top of my head, since I'm doing this quick video, like, my thought process is kind of drawing a blank. But anyway, it has almost every Street Fighter game. Unfortunately, they're straight up arcade ports, so you're not going to get some of the special features that you would get in some of the console ports. namely like the ones that came out on PlayStation, the Japanese Sega Saturn, and the Dreamcast. So overall, awesome game. This is something that I mostly play like when I go out and like I go to the laundromat or whatever. If you're a fan of Street Fighter, this should be in your library. I also have this on PlayStation 2. I mean PlayStation 4 as well. I meant to say PlayStation 4 2, but that makes it sound like a completely new system. It's like, what? There's a PlayStation 4 2? Is it better than the Pro? But yeah, it's a staple. As well as Mario Odyssey. If you love Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 3D Land, I heard that they might be coming out with Super Mario 3D World, which is a Wii U port, which I'm really excited about. But if you like the Galaxy games, or I wouldn't say Sunshine because you don't have the flood system, but even Super Mario 64, if you like 3D Mario games, this is the most refined version. It's gorgeous. There's a really cool, innovative features in it. You get to possess things with your hat. So there's a little bit of puzzle solving with that, and you get new abilities from like the certain characters that you possess. It's really cool. Highly recommend it. One of my favorite games on the Wii. I mean, not the Wii, the Switch. Excuse me. Super Mario Maker 2. I've still yet to try to make a level, and I want to do it. I just haven't taken the time. Like a lot of times, there's just been other games coming out left and right in between this, and I keep on putting it on the back burner. But one of these days I'm going to make this epic level that I'm not going to be able to share because the online service will probably be cut off by then, and I'll have to have this directly plugged into the socket with the USB cord because my Nintendo Switch battery died by the time that I do it. Assuming that I survive past 2020 with everything going on. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm sure most of you who have a Switch have this. Ironically, I don't have Animal Crossing, which I feel most people that have a Switch have. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm not a terribly huge fan of Super Smash Bros. But when they showed that they had Castlevania characters, I'm a sucker and I fell for it and I bought it. The thing that I don't like about this game is that you pretty much have to unlock all the characters by playing the single player game. I get it, it helps you gain experience and stuff like that, but it makes it hard when you just want to play as your favorite characters when you first get the game and you just want to have like some versus matches with the computer and stuff like that. So that sucks. Sorry, I keep on saying it's just one of those little quirks that I have to buy myself time when I talk, when I make these videos, because I'm super uptight and awkward because I'm not used to talking to myself, knowing that other people hear. I talk to myself all the time, but most of the time other people won't hear it, which is why I'm talking to myself. But anyway, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Awesome game once you unlock everything, but when you first get it, it's kind of disappointing because you have to go through this whole overworld and fight all these little battles. It's really cool though. It's like a Nintendo museum, like on a cartridge. I don't have any of the DLC, unfortunately. I feel like I need to unlock every single base character before I even think about the DLC. I also don't have my voice just cracked. Apparently, I'm going through puberty again. I also don't have the online service for the Nintendo Switch. I guess if it's still around, once I start making Mario levels, maybe I'll get it. And if the virtual arcade or whatever the hell they call it on the Switch, where you get to play the Super Nintendo and original NES games, the library of that gets better. Since they don't have the virtual console, like, I would very much be more interested in looking into purchasing that. So this is also a Wii U port. This is Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Encore. So this is a mixture of the Shin Megami Tensei series. I hope I'm saying that right. Which is the Persona games are actually part of that series, even though They don't seem to add that in the title anymore. It's a mixture between that and Fire Emblem, but it plays more like a Persona game. And then like your summons are like Fire Emblem characters, kind of like your Persona in a way. This game seems awesome so far. I've played a little bit of it, but I've really enjoyed it. And then there's this whole, like, it's really stylish like the Persona games. This has like this Japanese idol theme to it. It's really cool so far for a JRPG. I've really enjoyed it. Out of all the JRPGs I have on the Switch, this one interests me the most, and this is the one I will probably finish first. Although Octopath Traveler is really cool, but that just seems like a black hole of time. The World Ends With You. For whatever reason, I skipped the mobile version and the original DS version. And this is like a 2D JRPG. It's super stylish. I would definitely only play this in portable mode since it's a port of a DS/mobile game. It was originally a DS game first. It doesn't translate well with motion controls and stuff like that, so I would definitely use the actual Nintendo Switch and portable mode to play this game, because it's way easier to like use a stylus with this game, which it was originally intended for. Really cool, really stylish, like it. Maybe that's the second one I'll wait till last to finish either the last JRPG I finished that I'll currently own. I'll either be Octopath Traveler or the final game in my collection, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which also seems to be like a black hole of time. I actually have this for the Wii. I didn't play it that much because I don't really like... this sounds shitty. There are good games on the Wii. Like, one of my favorite games that's on the Wii is Super Mario Galaxy. I really do like the system. It's a library, like a lot of the games on it. I just hate playing on the Wii, and this is a better version of the game that I got for the Wii. And since this is an extended gameplay playthrough. Why did I even try to finish that sentence? This is a really long game, and I don't want to play on the Wii longer than I have to. Wii's good for short bursts. I hate hooking it up. I hate that stupid fucking sensor bar. I hate the batteries in the controller because for whatever reason I didn't get the rechargeable ones. I hate the motion controls because they aren't all that accurate. Like, it was early motion control designs, but I like the games on the system. So I don't hate the Wii, but it's definitely not my favorite platform to play games on. But it has a good library of games if you get through the shovelware. Sometimes motion controls work well with it. It was really unique at the time. I remember playing the first No More Heroes, and you would get phone calls and you would actually hear the calls through the speaker on the microphone. At the time, that's really novel. I know the PlayStation 4 has like the speaker on it. It's barely used now. Like, there's only a handful of games I've ever played that actually utilize the speaker. The only one that's coming up off the top of my head is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. You could hear like your weapons being reloaded. But this is a really nice remastered from what I've played so far. I mean, it's not mind-blowing. Like, you have the Switch is slightly more powerful than like the 360 as far as graphics go wise, so you can't expect like this mind-blowing overhaul, but it's really nice. I got it, and hopefully this time I'll actually finish the game. At the time, the game was allegedly rare, but I think that was one of those things where like GameStop was trying to falsely make it rare or whatever. Because I feel like the copy I bought, although used, was brand new. Like, everything was in mint condition. And if anybody's ever had a DVD, even if you're the most careful, there's some sort of scuff or some sort of blemish on it. Like, the paper was perfect. Like the disc didn't even have like one fingerprint on it. It was like brand new. They don't resurface shit. I've asked them to resurface shit, and they went in the back and like put on this like the little liquid that you get that's supposed to like fill in the cracks of the disc. They don't even have like a resurfacing machine, so there's no way that the game I bought wasn't brand new and they just took it out of the package. So on to accessories. These controllers are like $80, so I bought this used. I didn't have a controller for a long time, but now that I have one, I can't go back to playing with the little adapter that takes like the two Joy-Cons and puts them together, and you kind of have like a false controller and it's spread out really far. But this controller is awesome. It also has the haptic feedback, which the Switch Lite doesn't have, and I think it adds so much to the game versus just regular vibration. Like it just, I don't know, it feels unique. That sounds really weird, but like it's a more accurate representation of like force feedback. Like it emulates things better. Like for example, like it's so accurate, like if you play, now I'm saying like instead of if you play the Kirby game, and there's this one part where if you put the controller down on the table, it'll actually, the vibration from the haptic feedback, which I believe uses magnets instead of motors, it'll actually play the original theme song from the game. If you have a Switch, I would definitely try to find one used in decent condition. I lucked out. This was practically brand new. Like, I guess somebody got sick of it really fast and turned it in, but I bought mine used, which I got for a fairly, no, definitely a reasonable price. These are like $80 new, which even for the PlayStation 4, like it's hard for me to swallow $60 for a controller. I have a feeling the PlayStation 5 controllers are going to be ridiculously expensive based on what they said they could do. Our Nintendo just jacked up their prices. I don't know. The Joy-Cons are pretty expensive as well, so who knows. But like it also has like the thing that inside, the sensor that picks up the amiibos. Sorry, I'm not using technical terms right now. And it's just awesome. The D-pad's pretty cool, although it's kind of weird. Like diagonals on this are they're kind of hard to pull off. There's like some sort of partition in the mechanics of the controller where like if you play a game like Street Fighter and stuff like that, it's hard to like roll like your thumb on the D-pad to like do some of the special moves. That's my only critique. Otherwise, like I feel like especially if you play on dock mode, this is a staple. If you're playing old school games like 2D games and stuff like this does not have the haptic feedback, but excuse me, but it does have a D-pad, and you still get the feedback on the other Joy-Con when you play this. This is really affordable. If you're like suffering from Joy-Con drift, like the third-party market, you can get pretty decent stuff fairly affordable. Considering how much the Joy-Cons cost, this was $14, and this is awesome. Like I have to bring this along with the regular Joy-Cons where I go, like if knowing that I'm gonna play like 2D games as well. Like I can't recommend this one enough. This is made by Hori too. Hori makes awesome stuff. I've never had anything from Hori that wasn't good. Like the plastic might not be as high as quality, but Hori goes all the way up to making high-end arcade sticks to really good third-party peripherals. I would definitely recommend this. Like Hori, especially anything made by Hori, like it won't let you down. It just doesn't have all the bells and whistles as like a regular Joy-Con. Alright, so this is what I normally carry my Switch in. Nothing fancy, but I figured I'd show it. These are iPhone headphones that I don't even know if I've ever used for my iPhone, maybe once or twice. This is where I store my games. This would probably upset a lot of people, but since I have so many games, I unfortunately put them in there. My mom had like a pad and she didn't like this stylus, so she's like, hey, you want it? And I was like, sure. And I mean, you can use any stylus, but this is a nicer stylus and it works perfect for the Switch, but I imagine any stylus would. But anyway, that's my Switch collection. It's not that impressive, I guess. I guess. I don't know. This wasn't the brag. I'm just trying to share. Maybe you can give me some ideas of games that you enjoy, or let me know your opinions of the games that I already own. I'm just doing this to like share my collection and, I don't know, share my enthusiasm in gaming and stuff like that, even though I'm all over the place. Again, this video is longer than I thought it was going to be, a story of my life, but I did it. We're done. We got through this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you on the next video. Hope you're all doing well. Take care. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.